but when I think of the beach, I think of Charleston, South Carolina. According to Condé Nast Traveler magazine, Reader's Choice Award, Charleston has been the #1 U.S. city to visit for the past 4 years. Also, according to the same Reader's Choice Award, in 2014, they were #2 in the whole world. So just in case thousands of people's opinions aren't enough to convince you to go there, let me add my own. Last summer, I got the opportunity to go and nanny in Charleston for 5 weeks. It was incredible. I not only learned to see the beauty that God has created me to thrive in all around me, but I also learned that I love experiencing history. I've never really liked history classes, but when I was in Charleston, I realized that I loved immersing myself in learning. Charleston is a place where everyone should go because of the rich history, the fun adventures to have, and also the beauty that you find there. Charleston's history is vast and very interesting. One of the most popular places is Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter was built in the Charleston Harbor as a coastal garrison in 1829, and it's most famous for being the location of the first shots of the Civil War. Another place that I really loved visiting was Magnolia Plantation. Magnolia was established by the Ashley River in 1676 by Thomas and Ann Drayton, and is most famous for its world-renowned gardens. On the right is a picture of that. But if house tours aren't your cup of tea, then I would suggest going to the Battery. The Battery is a park on the waterfront of the Charleston Peninsula, and it's most famous for the cannons and cannonballs that are lined up on the edge of it. These were put there after the War of 1812 as a last defense if the harbor were attacked. And also it includes a legend that pirates were hung on these large oak trees to warn away others from entering the harbor. And that legend includes a lost treasure in the Charleston Harbor just waiting to be found. But along with the historical parks, they also have lots of historical churches. My favorite was St. Michael's Episcopal Church. It's the oldest in town, and the current building that is standing was built in 1761, and it is still operating today. But if you're not into exploring on your own, then I would suggest tours. And there are tours at all of these places that I have mentioned. And also if you're looking for a broader, just Charleston tour, the carriage tours are really awesome. You're going to learn about things like the historical Charleston Market, which has been open since 1804, and also the famous Rainbow Row, which is a street of houses painted all different colors. And you're also just going to learn about lots of the historical homes and historical churches around downtown. But after you've explored all of the history of Charleston, there's still so much to do. Lots of people like to go on adventures like kayaking and paddleboarding, and the most popular place for this is Nature Adventures. They say on their website that you can see cypress, salt marshes, and even Indian ruins while you're on one of their tours. My favorite adventure to go on when I was in Charleston was just wandering the streets. I would go to parks, to streets, to alleys, to churches, to shops, and I still never ran out of places to go. But if you're not into adventuring, that's okay. You can opt for Charleston's more tame activities, like shopping on King Street, lounging on the beach, or eating at the restaurants. My favorite shop on King Street is called Artist and Craftsman Supply Place. And it's just a little hole-in-the-wall art store with lots of colors and lots of fun things to see. And my favorite restaurant that I went to is called Coogan's Porch. The owners named it after their late dog, Coogan. And like so many other business owners in Charleston, they transformed their beautiful old home into this restaurant. They serve traditional low country food like crab, fried chicken, grits, and even alligator. But after you have eaten and are full, you want to go lounge on the beach. Charleston has 5 main beaches within 20 minutes of the city, and they are Kiowa Island, Isle of Palms, Folly Beach, Seabrook Island, and Sullivan's Island. Sullivan's Island was my favorite to go to because of the cleanliness and just the overall beauty of it. Speaking of beauty, that brings me to my last point of Charleston's greatness. My point of Charleston's beauty can be best shown by just showing you pictures. So I've created a series of pictures from my trip to Charleston to demonstrate that. But one thing before I get started with that is I was fascinated by the sky in Charleston. It was constantly changing, but constantly beautiful. So on that note, here's a picture from behind my hotel at the docks. I got to walk on these docks every single day, and it was so beautiful. At the end of the docks, there was a beautiful cityscape of Charleston, and I loved being able to walk out there. Also within Charleston, there's lots of gorgeous old buildings to see, and here are some of my favorites. This is Redeemer Presbyterian Church. This is where I attended when I was in Charleston. Inside and outside, this building is so pretty. It's just beautiful. Also, one of my favorite buildings was the Charleston Library Society. I never went in because you have to be part of the society, but from the outside, it is a gorgeous building. There are 2 main parks in Charleston. One is the Battery, which I have already told you about. The second one, though, is Riverview Park. Riverview Park includes the famous Pineapple Fountain, and this is a symbol of Charleston's southern hospitality towards its visitors. So putting all of these different aspects of Charleston together, how can you pass up this whole package of a vacation place? Charleston has great historic landmarks, it has awesome adventures to go on, and it has some of the most beautiful views I have ever seen. My time in Charleston was filled with places to go and things to do, but overall my favorite aspect of this special place was its peacefulness. My favorite places to go were the docks or Riverview Park, or just walking up and down the streets, and I would either pray or just observe the life going on around me. And it was the most peaceful place I've ever been. So I hope that this has convinced you that the Reader's Choice Award for #1 city in the U.S. is well deserved when it comes to Charleston, South Carolina, and that everyone definitely should take a trip to see this great place. Thank you.